Hey everyone, today we are going to look at the new NVIDIA Triton Inference server, and we're going to look at how we can set that up on an Azure VM, and then we're going to do some inferencing with ONNX runtime. Recently, Microsoft released a new learning path. This learning path is awesome. It goes over a lot of different ways, from getting a data set, using the auto labeling features in Azure Machine Learning, and then training a model with AutoML. So you can do a lot here without actually having to have deep understanding on how to build a neural network. And at the end of this, you get this model. And then the fourth module is how to actually deploy that with Triton. So this is the one that we're going to be focusing on, and we're actually going to walk through this whole process. And I'll also leave the link to this learning path if you want to go through the whole thing, which I highly recommend. So first, let's start with what is the NVIDIA Triton Inference server. And basically, it's an open source software that lets teams deploy trained AI models for any framework from local or cloud storage on any GPU or CPU, or data center, or cloud, or on-prem, or device. So we're going to start there. So we're going to create an Azure VM, and then we're going to install some of the prerequisites on that VM. So once we have configured our VM, then we'll pull our Docker image and get it set up to run our inference. Okay, so let's go to Azure and create our VM. So one of the things you can do in Azure, which is pretty cool, is there's already pre-built images you can choose from, but you could also set up a VM that had this. So after we're done doing all of our prereqs of installs for the NVIDIA image and then downloading that image and running it, you could also then set up that customized image that you created as your default image that you could then use next time you go to create a VM and have all that pre-work done. So now we can filter down to see which ones are just our type of GPU, and then we can grab that NC6 machine, which is what we want to use. We're going to open up the SSH22 port. And now we've clicked create, and we're going to get that VM set up.
Now we have SSH'd into our machine, and we're going to go ahead and download the Python dev packages that we need. Next, we're going to update the path to include our local bin. Next, we're going to install our container engine that we need, which Microsoft has one. And then we will also install the Moby engine. And once we have those installed, then we're ready to pull our Docker container to our VM. Once that completes, we're going to do a wget to get the source code that we need to run. Then we are going to install the unzip package and then also unzip the demo.zip that we just installed. We're going to update the permissions. And then we are going to kick off a few different scripts here to test out our container. Now we have the Docker container running locally, and we've executed our scripts. And now if we flip back to the other window, we can see the inference complete. Now, if we scroll through the inferenced images here, we can start to see where they have detected different objects, what the objects are, and where the bounding box is. So we can see that we have some different types of soda cans. Now, if we take a look at the images in the directory, we can use a package called chaffa to actually print out the images in the terminal. Now, it's a little pixelated because we're printing out images in a terminal, but you can see the different sprite cans and you can see the green bounding boxes around them. So if we look at a few different images, we can see the successful bounding boxes that have been applied to the image.
So there you go. That's how we are able to use the Azure VMs to inference using the Triton Inference server, which leverages the power of ONNX runtime.